Good afternoon. Welcome to the Legendary Sports Podcast. This is your host, GSR. Today we're going to cover the first day of free agency frenzy, not for the Cowboys, but we're going to see, talking about what they did, who we got, who they didn't get, and who they lost. So let's get into it. So let's start the pod off by saying thank you to Jordan Lewis. He left us for greener pastures. True definition of why you should always bet on yourself. Cowboys didn't want to ante up, so he found somebody who would. Jordan Lewis signing a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good for you, Jlew. There's a report about Mike Fisher that he was, as of 2 days ago, he was in the building talking with the new defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, had long conversations. Everything said, look, all signs pointed to him signing back. Cowboys thought he signed back. He is a glue guy, culture guy. He was just an absolute dog. And one of those guys who you can't measure what he really brought off the field, his impact and his value, how he would fight and rally and keep that team from giving up. And we saw it multiple times on the field when he fought George Pickens. He wasn't going to just let cheap shots fly and show, hey, I don't care what the score is, we're going to fight. I got to fight. You ain't going to just punk me. To a team that needs some dogs on it. Let's just be honest. They need some fighters. They need some, not cheap shots, but skill. He was a dog, and he was skilled. He was great at what he does. He wasn't just some bench guy running off, taking a sucker punch. He went toe-to-toe with the top receivers, and he didn't run from anything. He's going to be missed. I'm so happy that he got paid. He was on a 1-year prove-it deal last year. Got $3 million. Now he's getting 30, triple his worth. And great for him. That's what you do. That's what you do. He bet on himself, and that's a typical move of the Cowboys. As you think you cloud your own judgment. That's you don't you miss evaluate the market, Jerry, Steven, and you think you can get him for pennies on the dollar because he's a cowboy and he loves being here. So you think he's going to take a haircut to stay. And maybe he would have. But he wasn't going to go bald. Yeah, maybe if you offered him something close. Maybe you gave him 3 for 30. Maybe you said 3 for 20. Maybe you said 3 for 25. Maybe he would go for that. But he's going to, but no, not pennies on a dollar. And that's the thing. That's the more of the same with Cowboys, with this selective aggressiveness, and you cleared up all this money to shut people up and get people intrigued. I'm pretty sure convinced that was a marketing ploy to get us fans sucked back in because we have been so critical over the Joneses and how they don't do things. So to get some positive vibe, they flip these switches on Dak and CD and say, look, we got some money. We're cooking. We're cooking. And what are you cooking? Ramen. You're cooking ramen. Because you're not spending big money on steak or anything else. You just stick to what you know and continue your path. You let Jordan Lewis walk with no discernible replacement on the roster. So now that just creates another big hole that you're going to have to field. Because if you look at the cornerback position, you got Trayvon Diggs hurt. We'll see him maybe at best midseason. You got Deron Bland. He's healthy finally, but he missed all last season. Well, not all last season, but the majority of last season. By the time he came back, it was over. And then you got Carson. I mean, he's healthy, but he wasn't good when he was healthy last year. And he got banged up. And you got Josh Butler, who showed signs, but he tore his ACL late in the season, so he's going to be gone pretty much the whole season. So now you really don't have any cornerbacks on your roster. None that you feel comfortable playing with it starting other than Deron Bland. And Deron Bland himself, no fault of his own, he was never a lockdown corner. He's like Trayvon Diggs in the sense that he's a gambler and likes to take chances, which it worked out for him. So, and I hope he gets his extension soon, but we'll see on that. He deserves one because you can't let everybody walk Dallas. And then you got Miles Garrett who just re-signed for a $48 million a year contract. Why is that relevant to on the Cowboys? Because Micah's due and he wants to get paid, and he wanted to get paid early so the team could be aggressive in free agency and upgrade the roster. And what are they doing? Nothing. They created that space for exactly what? Exactly nothing. They haven't done anything worth a note. We'll get into the free agent signings in the next segment. But this is what Micah Parsons, why he tweets out WTF, because Larry Tunsil went to the went to Washington Commanders. The other teams around, they're making moves to get better. They're making moves to get better while you're standing pat. And here's a guy who specifically said, "I want to get my deal done early, so you can be aggressive," and you just completely ignored him. You had a chance to put your money where your mouth is. Say, "Hey, okay, let's get this done. How much less are you willing to take?" So we can so we can put together a plan to go out and get, not break the bank, but get known players, impact players, not guys who we just want to fill out the roster and fill out the back end of the roster and compete with rookies for draft picks. And to the time of this recording, it has not happened yet. So I wonder, if my personal opinion, if I'm Micah, that goes out the window now. Why would I take less or a team friendly deal and save money for you, so for you to not spend it? You got money now that you can spend. You're not doing it. You're just trying to fill out a roster. No. I mean, a roster that needs upgrade, not just filling out, not just a team to throw out there. You need significant upgrades in offensive line, corner, as we discussed, linebackers. We haven't got to that. You really have no playable linebackers anymore. With Damone Clark just falling off the cliff and Obashan being hurt. And we'll see if you bring back Kendricks. Even if you bring back Kendricks, he's an aging player. You need edge. You still need You still need D line. You still need corner. You still need offensive line. You still need running back. So this money that you flipped, and you're not really spending on any of that. So Micah, if I'm you, okay. If it's not gonna do it, no. If you're not gonna work with me, when I say I'm being the ultimate team guy, I'll take less to play. Boom. I want every penny I can get. Cool. What's the point? What's the point of me being team first if you're not gonna take the money you got and do it? You show me no signs of being aggressive. Let's get into it. So, like I alluded to earlier, there were some basic signings to fill out the roster. We got Javonte Williams, 25-year-old running back, out of Denver, out of North Carolina. He was actually highly touted. He had a great skill set coming out of college. Had a very good rookie season, 903 yards, I think 4 or 5 touchdowns. Really explosive. I think he tore his ACL and it was never quite the same. Hated for him. I know he just lost his explosion and his cut. He's just a one plant your foot down and run until you hear glass break type running back, which means he's not setting up any blocks. He's just gonna, if you need 3 yards, he'll get you 3 yards. If you need 6, he's gonna get you 3. He does, however, is good in pass pro. He does good hands, which in Mike Shanahan's office, Um, excuse me, Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer. His offense is pretty key. So this to me screams like just cover your bases. So if we don't draft a running back, so if we don't draft Gentry, the running back everybody wants and screaming for, we have a guy in place. Like just like last year when everybody in the whole world saw they needed a running back and they didn't draft one because we're signing Zeke. That's what this screamed out. Now, do I think they'll double down on that decision and not draft one? No, they'll definitely draft one because he's only got a 1 year, $3 million deal. It's nothing worth losing your mind over. Basically, a prove it deal. To me, this represents like Royce Freeman or Ronald Jones type situation where and those guys didn't make it out of camp. Where you come in and compete and see. We'll see. And I guess by definition he'll be the starter, but that means nothing in the grand scheme of things because Zeke was just, we're just going to compete in training camp and we're going to go with the rookie and cover our bases and go from there. I mean, Malik Davis is still here. I'm sure they're trying to sell that. Chris Vaughn. What do you think about Deuce Vaughn? Because we need to look into that because why is he still on the team? I wanted him to success. I love the story just like everybody else, but his speed in college is not the same speed in the NFL. He doesn't look as fast. He can. He's an arm tackle guy. They bring him out at one tackle. Um, that could be a matter of misuse. Get him out in space and see, but because he does have to make you miss. But his breakaway, his home run hitting speed, it always looks great in the preseason. But when he gets his limited, albeit limited, when he gets his opportunities in the actual game, they don't translate. So there's probably be a make or break year for him. Malik Davis, new coaching staff. Well, not new coaching staff, new eyes. Brian Schottenheimer was here yesterday, so last year, so he knows exactly what they bring already. So nothing too crazy there, but so I think I think he's better than those guys, but we'll see. You still desperately need to draft a running back, and you will. But this does, whether you like the strategy or not, it does allow you to not draft one in the first round. Maybe find one in the third round. Can't do it in the fourth because you don't have one because of Jonathan Mingo. But you have covered your bases, just like Rob Jones. Rob Jones. Who? Rob Jones. Yeah, the Rob Jones. No, he was, no disrespect to Rob Jones. He was undrafted drafted free agent for Miami in 2021. Fought Claude, made the team. Played limited snaps in 22 and 23 seasons. He played limited snaps. Last year he was a starter. He started all 17 games. Left guard had a passer rating from Pro Football Focus at 54.3, which isn't great at all. Gave up 28 pressures and 5 sacks. But he's just a guy who, like Javonte Williams, not a needle mover, just to say, hey, we want to draft you for some depth and compete, and maybe we'll catch lightning in the bottle. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just a cheap strategy. Just like you find you're going bargain basements shopping. You're not going to want to spend on anybody, not too much, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll catch you want to prove a deal, and you'll make you want to work extremely hard. Always looking at this, guys are veteran minimums for a reason. Granted, they're young, and they can come in and compete, and that's all this is competition. Which sounds to me like what you should use the draft for, because you have so many holes, like we mentioned in the first block, so many holes to fill. I can start chipping away at him. You did, however, sign Solomon Thomas. Um, everybody, Solomon Thomas is the bigger name of the three. D tackle off the Jets. Not what he once was a beast earlier in his career, but he's still solid. 2 years, $8 million on that contract. He's from Dallas. He's probably one of those guys who took a haircut to come to Dallas just so he can come back home and play for the hometown team, because he's a hometown boy. So shout out to him. I actually do like that move a lot. It's not a thing to get overly excited, but I do like it. I do like it because now you got Osa, you got him, you have Mozzie. You can see the interior start to fill out a little bit. You got somebody who could push Mozzie, and that's what you want. You need him to push Mozzie. He has some position flex too. He can play, depending on how the defense shakes out. He can play a little bit on that. He's not a pass rusher, but he can play a little bit of edge on run defense situations, interior, So he's got that going for him. And the Cowboys always love their position flex. But the biggest thing is somebody who can push Mozzie, who can actually play. Not a Linval Joseph, who was all the way out the league and pretty much retired. And not a Jordan Phillips, who was just donezo and couldn't play anymore. He went to Buffalo and performed a few times here and there, like a few key plays, but here in Dallas, he was just getting blown off the ball and just was not the same dude. Maybe he was out of shape. Maybe sometimes it takes players to play a while to get back in shape, which is very possible. This is why you don't sign people at the end of training camp like that. Expect them to be impact players week one, which is also something just because they're cheap. That's what the Cowboys wanted to do, because they didn't want to pay Jonathan Hankins, and he for another minimum contract. So you reap what you sow. So another day, another free agency. Jerry and Steven being cheap. No needle movers. Maybe some solid guys. Hopefully they can make the team. If they don't, oh well. But you're covering your base to say, no, we don't need to draft a right guard. We got one. We got Rob Jones. No, I'm not buying that. You guys aren't buying that either. But, they're trying to sell us. So when they try to sell us that in April, just remember, no, we're not buying that. You need to get out there, do your actual work. Get some impact players, just like the Eagles do, just like the Giants do, just like the Commanders are doing right now, to protect their young quarterback and properly invest in their young quarterback. And then we'll get excited. One thing I do not, there's been rumors going around about Tyler Lockett. I'm not a fan of that. So if they do work that out because of familiarity and all that, I'm not a fan of that. You don't need any more short receivers. You need you need 6'2", 6'3" guys who can actually get up and get the ball and make life easier for that. Not Jonathan Tolbert, who we know is not a proven number 2 receiver. He can't be the guy. You need to upgrade over that. But we'll cross that bridge if and when it happens. Thank you once again. This has been the Legendary Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us, joining me, and we will see you next time.